Welcome to the Political Bridge. I am Ada, and today we tackle the Kids Online Safety Act and the intense debate over age verification online. Parents across the country worry about screen time, social media algorithms, and how tech companies target their children. But when the government steps in to protect minors, it forces a hard choice between online safety and free speech. Lawmakers want platforms to verify user ages and turn off addictive features for teens. Critics warn this creates a massive digital surveillance state where adults must hand over sensitive identity documents just to browse the web. Is government intervention the right tool to protect kids, or does it violate privacy and constitutional rights? Let us examine the facts. Nico, you have the floor for the conservative opening argument.
For too long, big tech companies have put profits over the mental health of our children. When an algorithm pushes harmful content to a teenager, it is not just a corporate choice. It is a public health crisis that destroys families. The Kids Online Safety Act gives parents the tools they need to protect their kids online. We require platforms to turn off addictive features like endless scrolling for minors by default. We also mandate a duty of care, meaning companies must stop promoting self-harm, cyberbullying, and dangerous content to kids. Opponents talk about privacy, but what about the privacy of minors who are tracked and profiled by tech giants every single day? Age verification is not about censorship. It is about basic child protection. We already restrict alcohol and tobacco sales to minors to keep them safe from harm. The internet should be no different. When we discuss the Kids Online Safety Act, we must remember that parental rights matter more than tech industry profits. We have to secure the digital border for our kids.
Everyone wants to protect children, but this bill uses the wrong method and creates dangerous new problems. When the government forces websites to check everyone's age, it destroys online privacy for every single American. To prove your age, you will have to upload a driver license or use facial recognition software. That means tech companies and the government will track everything you read, watch, and say online. That is a massive violation of the First Amendment. Furthermore, the Kids Online Safety Act gives immense power to whichever political party holds the White House. Today, a certain administration might target harmful content. Tomorrow, a different administration could label LGBTQ support groups or reproductive health resources as harmful to minors. That is censorship, pure and simple. We cannot protect kids by breaking the open internet and silencing marginalized youth who rely on online communities for support. Real safety means teaching digital literacy and funding mental health care, not building a digital checkpoint system run by the federal government.
Thank you both. You have laid out the core tension clearly: protecting children from harm versus protecting adult privacy and free expression from government control. Now let us move to direct cross-examination. Nico, you have the floor first. Name and attack the specific claim Jordan made in her opening that is most vulnerable, and defend your position.
Jordan claims this bill will lead to mass censorship and silence marginalized groups, but that argument ignores how the law is actually written. The Kids Online Safety Act targets specific physical and mental harms like suicide promotion and bullying. It does not target speech or political ideas. Her slippery slope argument is designed to scare people away from basic safety rules. Furthermore, her alternative of just teaching digital literacy has failed for over a decade, while teen depression rates have skyrocketed. We cannot rely on voluntary corporate guidelines anymore. When parents lose control over what tech algorithms feed their children, government must step in to restore order. The debate over the Kids Online Safety Act is about holding corporations liable for negligence, just like any other industry. If a car manufacturer builds an unsafe vehicle, we hold them accountable in court. Social media companies should face the exact same standard when their products harm children. Privacy concerns are real, but privacy does not mean the right of tech monopolies to exploit kids.
Nico insists the bill only targets clear harms, but legal scholars point out that state attorneys general will have broad discretion to interpret what counts as harmful. That vagueness is precisely why free speech groups oppose the legislation. When tech platforms face massive fines for hosting content deemed harmful to minors, they will simply ban any controversial topic to play it safe. That means teens seeking mental health support or minority youth finding community will get censored by risk-averse corporations. Nico also compares tech to car manufacturing, but code is speech, not a physical machine. You cannot apply 20th century product liability laws to digital communication without crushing the First Amendment. Furthermore, age verification requires third-party data collection, which puts every user at risk of identity theft and data breaches. We cannot trade our fundamental constitutional rights away for an empty promise of corporate compliance. Real protection comes from strong federal privacy laws that ban data tracking for all users, not a flawed censorship bill.
We have reached the stress test round. Nico, your weak point is assuming that government regulators will never abuse the broad enforcement powers granted by this bill. Jordan, your weak point is offering no immediate solution for soaring teen mental health crises while you wait for comprehensive privacy laws that may never pass. Defend those points.
Ada, I reject the premise that we should leave children unprotected out of fear of future regulatory overreach. Congress builds guardrails and judicial reviews into federal law to prevent abuse. We already regulate public safety across every sector without abandoning our constitutional framework. The current alternative is absolute lawlessness, where foreign algorithms and domestic tech monopolies prey on vulnerable minds every day. Parents are begging for help right now, and telling them to wait for a perfect federal privacy bill offers zero comfort when teen suicide rates are climbing. We must use the tools we have on the table today. The Kids Online Safety Act includes strict oversight provisions to ensure enforcement stays focused on actual exploitation and severe harm. We cannot let the perfect become the enemy of the good when children are facing a verified mental health emergency. Accountability starts with passing this legislation and forcing tech companies to clean up their act.
Ada, I reject the idea that our position leaves children defenseless. We can pass targeted data privacy rules right now that ban targeted advertising to minors and stop companies from collecting children data in the first place. That directly attacks the root cause of algorithmic addiction without requiring age verification for every adult citizen. When you force every website to check IDs, you create honeypots of sensitive data that hackers will steal. Teens lose more than they gain when their private medical and personal searches get exposed to data brokers and government surveillance. Furthermore, blaming tech algorithms ignores the broader socioeconomic pressures and school stress that contribute to teen mental health struggles. We need to fund school counselors and mental health professionals directly rather than outsourcing child protection to a broken regulatory framework. True safety respects our constitutional rights and protects our data privacy from government overreach.
The stress test is complete. Nico maintains that immediate federal rules are essential to stop algorithmic harm to children regardless of regulatory risk. Jordan insists that age verification mandates destroy privacy and create severe censorship risks that outweigh the bill benefits. Both sides refuse to yield ground.
This debate comes down to a simple question of priorities. Do we prioritize the safety and mental health of our children, or do we protect the convenience of anonymous web browsing for adults? The evidence is overwhelming. Social media algorithms are designed to keep kids hooked, anxious, and depressed for corporate profit. Parents cannot fight multi-billion-dollar tech giants on their own. They need the backing of federal law to force platforms to turn off addictive features and stop pushing dangerous content to minors. The Kids Online Safety Act provides that vital legal shield. It balances parental rights with corporate accountability in a practical, enforceable way. We regulate product safety in every other area of American commerce, and the digital public square should be no exception. Let us pass this bill, protect the next generation from online predators, and restore sanity to our digital landscape before it is too late.
Protecting our kids is a vital goal, but we cannot destroy our own constitutional rights to achieve it. The Kids Online Safety Act creates a digital surveillance apparatus that threatens free speech, user privacy, and marginalized youth who depend on the open internet. Age verification mandates force every American to surrender personal identification just to access basic information online. That opens the door to massive data breaches and government overreach by future administrations. Instead of building a censorship machine, we should pass comprehensive federal privacy legislation that bans targeted advertising and data harvesting for all minors immediately. We can protect children without breaking the internet or sacrificing our civil liberties. Let us focus our energy on proven solutions like digital literacy, mental health funding, and strict data privacy rules that hold tech companies accountable without censoring free expression.
Jordan keeps pointing to hypotheticals about government overreach, but let us look at real-world data from states that have already implemented age verification measures for adult websites and digital platforms. Studies show that millions of minors attempt to access age-restricted or harmful content daily, and simple disclaimers do nothing to stop them. When Texas and Louisiana enacted age verification laws, major traffic drops occurred precisely because minors were successfully blocked from accessing material completely inappropriate for their developmental stage. Critics like Jordan argue that this creates an insurmountable burden for adults, but flashing a digital ID or using a privacy-preserving cryptographic token takes mere seconds. It is no different than showing a driver license at a retail store when purchasing restricted goods. We are talking about a minor inconvenience for adults versus a profound safety shield for children. If privacy advocates spent half as much energy helping design secure, decentralized age estimation technologies as they do fighting every single child protection measure, we would have a seamless system by now. The technology exists to verify age without exposing identity or tracking web history. Yet opponents reject any compromise. Waiting for comprehensive federal privacy legislation is a convenient excuse to delay action while tech companies continue to profit off teenage misery. We need the Kids Online Safety Act passed now to mandate these protections and force platforms to prioritize safety over engagement metrics.
Nico points to state-level age verification laws, but independent security experts and civil liberties groups have documented the disastrous fallout from those exact mandates. Far from being a minor inconvenience, those laws have forced major platforms to block entire categories of educational and health information or require invasive biometric scans that fail regularly. When users are forced to hand over driver licenses or credit card information to third-party verification services, those centralized databases become prime targets for hackers, leading to massive identity theft risks for everyday citizens. Furthermore, cryptographic age estimation tools are far from foolproof and often rely on commercial surveillance software that logs user behavior anyway. The digital ID infrastructure required by the Kids Online Safety Act does not magically appear out of nowhere. It requires building a comprehensive tracking apparatus across the entire internet. That compromises the fundamental anonymity that whistleblowers, dissidents, and vulnerable individuals rely on to speak truth to power without fear of retaliation. We cannot secure children by dismantling the encryption and privacy foundations that protect every American user. Real legislative solutions must target the monetization models of tech companies, such as banning algorithmic amplification and behavioral ad tracking for minors entirely, rather than erecting digital border checkpoints at every website entry point. We can protect youth without sacrificing the constitutional rights of the broader public.
That is all the time we have for today. You can find more information and resources at tpbridgepod.com. Join us next time for another engaging discussion. Until then, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep the debate alive.